Lost too.
Hello, and welcome to the crossover, where nothing is out of bounds and everything is fair game. We have a lot to cover with you today. But first, let's check in with the talk. Please, you're welcome to Stats, Aggie P, Tom, DP, and
Hey everybody and welcome. It's time once again for the best sports talk show on YouTube, on the radio, and the World Wide Web. You're listening to At Home with the Crossover, and I am your man, Big T, alongside my usual cast of characters, tag team partners, my peeps. They are definitely in the house, and we're going to start with a man that needs virtually no introduction, Radar. He's in the house. We like to call him Radar Charles because he wears those sunglasses. Radar, what is up, man?
That was the way Robinson's here to play, man. I'm excited, man.
There you go. There you go. Then we got Mama, First Lady, the doctor, the entrepreneur, the queen. She is all those things rolled up in one, but we like to call her TP. She's in the house. Queen, what's going on?
Blessings to everyone. Radar is a hater.
I love it. And then we got the man that brings the Ag swag to the show each and every week. He's an A&T Aggie through and through, thus the nickname Aggie P. He's in the house. What's up, AP?
Hey, Aggie Pride is nationwide, Big T.
There you go. And finally, the man that's a big, huge Eagles fan, LeBron James fan, Wake Forest fan, and a John Cena fan, WWE wrestling fan. He's all of those things.
Good
His
Lord.
name is the Birdman because of his Eagle fandom. Bird is in the house. What's up, man?
I don't know whether to talk about my Lakers or WrestleMania 39.
Oh,
I'm excited.
Neither one. Hey, and together we are the Tunnel Crew, watching everything that happens inside and outside the tunnel, leading to the lines of competition in the world of sports. And tonight we welcome a first-time guest, a special guest to the show. His name is Wayne Robinson, and he's the first African-American to graduate from Greensboro Day High School. He attended Virginia Tech and played basketball there. He also was drafted by the Lakers in the NBA, eventually got traded to my Detroit Pistons, and played a little bit with Zeke, so that's cool, and missed out on playing with playing under Jimmy V. Not Jimmy V, Dickie V, as Dick Vitale was fired before he got there. But he eventually made his way overseas and played over in Europe and Spain, and had some really good seasons over there. And now he is currently the North Carolina Triad multi-area director of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. He's over 12 counties, and he's basically responsible for growing the influence of Fellowship of Christian Athletes through prayer and by staffing the area with FCA reps. His name is Wayne Robinson. He joins us now on the show for the first time. Mr. Robinson, thank you for joining us, and we're glad to have you. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, Big D, and the whole crew. Thank you so much for the privilege of being able to spend some time with you. Anytime we have a chance to share what God is doing through student athletes and coaches, and how FCA has impacted so many individuals over many, many years, man, it's a privilege. So thank you guys so much for having me come on.
Absolutely, absolutely. And man, FCA is big. I remember attending some FCA meetings in high school, and yeah, it's definitely something that's much needed, especially today.
Right, that's right. FCA is one of the oldest parachurch ministries in the country, started in 1954. By Branch Rickey, who brought Jackie Robinson to National Baseball League, and then a guy named Don McClellan, who was a big basketball coach back in the day. And they decided that they needed to have some way in which they could build a bridge for student athletes and coaches to have more awareness of how important it is to be a Christian athlete.
Yes.
And brother, they had no idea that some 60 plus years later, almost 70 years later, that literally tens of thousands of coaches and student athletes will have given their lives to the Lord.
Yes.
Living it out through sports the way God intended. So, FCA is like the granddaddy of many of them. You hear about a lot of Athletes in Action and Crew and Youth for Christ and Campus Crusade for Christ. Well, FCA kind of was the first one to start breaking this ground. But brother, it has been amazing to see what's happened not only nationally but globally.
Yeah.
Right here in the Triad.
Yes. I remember one meeting I went to, and there were some there was a couple of guys in that meeting. I said, "What they doing here?" You know, I shouldn't have been thinking like that, but man, you could see as we were going through the meeting and the discussions were being had and the talks, and you could see the power of God just all over those guys, and that's when I realized how important it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's about a cultural shift. It's about discovering a moral compass for guys. I mean, you remember that you can see the scenarios where guys would pray before a game. You know, they say the Lord's Prayer. Guys making a sign of the cross and then go out there and cuss somebody out, doing all kinds of stuff. So you almost wonder what that was all about. Where they didn't have a relationship that they thought could transcend onto the playing field or onto the sport. And FCA really helps us to understand how to do that. And I received the Lord as my personal savior as I was a freshman at Virginia Tech. I didn't grow up in church, and God just turned my whole life around, and my life changed, man, in such a major way. Also making that decision as an 18-year-old. And I never thought I'd be on staff. I've been there for 10 years, doing a lot of work for a lot of special people. So, you know, FCA is here, and it's here to stay.
There you go. Hey, anybody got any questions for Wayne Robinson? I'll step back and let the tunnel crew ask any questions you might have.
I have a few, Mr. Robinson. So for the athletes that's here, especially in Guilford County, who may be listening to us, how does someone sign up for the FCA?
Excellent, Trina. Great question. First of all, let me just tell you that FCA is in about 85% of the high schools and middle schools in the entire triad. We have over 154 huddles. Huddle is just an activity group inside a school, middle school, high school. We're actually in 4 colleges as well. And so if a student athlete has a desire to want to connect, each school has a huddle advisor, someone who's a paid staff person that's right there on campus. At the same time, we also have staff. I've got 23 people on my staff that travel all over 12 counties supporting each of those huddles. But if somebody's interested right now, they're listening, they can go to our website at FCA, triadfca.org. That's triadfca.org. They can go in and they can find the contact information they need, contact my office. We can plug them in to a school, a teacher, or a coach, and it gives them an opportunity to start that wonderful journey with being around other student athletes and being in an environment that's conducive for them to grow.
There you go.
I had a quick shout out to Mr. Robinson. Miss B. Smith said that you really inspired her, and she worked with you back in 1993. If she gave me the correct year, and she just wanted to give you that shout out, Mr. Robinson.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been working with young people for a long, long time. Wow. Having after school and summer enrichment programs. Was a youth pastor for a long time, and even at the tender age of 65. I'm still running around, and look, I can still dunk a basketball.
Oh, still dunk!
Wow.
Oh,
yeah, Mr. Robinson. I didn't know if you worked in her ISS classroom or something like that, after school program.
Back in the day,
you do outreach in so many different ways. I'm sure of it.
I tell you what, just a real quick story here. I actually, before I got started in the full-time ministry, I was a substitute teacher. When I came home from Europe, I'd been gone for like years, and I said, I need to find out what these young people are facing. I'd done well, wasn't rich, did well, good steward over my funding, my salary and my income. And I said, let me do this. So for 6 months, I was in this Guilford County school system. I get calls every day. My phone was blowing up. Mr. Robinson, please come to our school. Please, do y'all remember that? Y'all remember that movie Lean on Me?
Yep.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I was Crazy Joe. All these schools, when I would come down the hall, them kids got to attention. And there was no junk going to happen, boy. So all the teachers would blow my phone up. So I probably was an ISS, English, math. So they wanted me in that room to bring some order to some of these kids out here.
That's all right.
Great jump start for me in ministry. Yeah.
Hey, I love it. Love it.
Hey, to follow up with that, Brother Robinson, in dealing with the student athletes and the kids today versus, say, 10 years ago, have your strategies changed any? Because it just seemed like today's teenagers are different than the teenagers, say, 10 years ago. Well, have you guys had to change your strategies or anything?
I think that's a great question. I think that the young people today are not really that much different. They just have more distractions. I don't think themselves are that different, but they have a whole lot more to have to grapple with each and every day because of social media. And we know that social media has just been trending upward and then downward in such a negative way for so many young people that it does challenge people in academia, certainly challenges ministries, whether it's FCA or the church, to really find more resources that are relevant, that are applicable for young people. So as I'm training my young folks, all my staff, I tell them how important it is to really build these relationships first before you try to share the gospel.
There you go.
If you don't do that,
Yep.
they'll tell you what they want you to hear and then just blow you off and just keep on going. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, so you don't necessarily have to get down to their level, but you got to bring forth, relatable experiences and put it in context so we can start a dialogue.
Yes.
Why is that important? You got to build trust. Don't build trust, they're not going to follow you. So that's the biggest challenge right now. And FCA has got a lot of tools. We have tons of material. That's the beautiful thing about being on our staff. You have a lot of material that you can pull on that can help these young people kind of put it in the context, how to be a good student athlete moving forward. Dr. Billy Graham said this: a coach has more impact on a student athlete than any teacher or parent. I extend that thought to say this: so goes the student athlete in a school, so goes the school.
Wow.
You go to a school and the school jacked up, chances are the student athletes are off the chain.
Wow.
But if that school's student athletes, because of the influence, of the influence, if the student athletes are on point for the most part, where you got captains and other leaders, chances are that school is in a good place. If you talk to most coaches and principals and administrators, if the student athlete community is balanced, that doesn't mean that they're doing chapter and verse and shouting hallelujah and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But they definitely understand what it means to make better decisions. Chances are that's a good school.
Wow. All right. So I want to ask you, so we've got the upcoming 2023 Triad FCA Spring Fundraising Banquet. It's going to be held over at the Grandover Resort. And wanted to ask you, the featured speaker is Tony Elliott, the head coach of the Virginia Cavaliers. He just finished his first year there, and he had to go through that tragedy with the 3 football players who were senselessly killed, gun violence, and the 4th guy that was injured. And he has used his faith, talked about how his faith got him through and how that faith has been powerful in leading those student athletes as well as students on the campus and everything. So talk to us about that and about the banquet.
Good. Excellent. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
FCA features a spring banquet every year. We've been very blessed to have some tremendous speakers. The late Bobby Bowden from Florida State. I've had at Phil Ford. I've had David Thompson. We've had Steve Smith Sr.
Wow.
We've had Larry Fedora. We've had Dabo Sweeney. I mean, we've had some phenomenal speakers over the years. But this year in particular, having Tony Elliott, a man of God, a Clemson guy, came out of Clemson. Who could never have imagined that his team would have had to go through such a tragedy, and to know that FCA plays such a critical role at UVA. George Morris is the chaplain there, a good friend of mine, and he has helped them to really build that culture. And you see it affecting both the football and the basketball program. Coach Tony Bennett, who was the basketball coach, is a great believer too. And see, these guys are stepping out on their faith, brothers and sisters.
Yes.
They're stepping out. They're letting people know what they believe and how they believe. So to have that happen and to see God step in so mightily, and FCA and the church rallying around not only those student athletes, but that school, a remarkable thing. And so as I started thinking about different speakers, I said, who could be an impactful speaker this year for our crowds? We have about 400 or 500 that come out, and the Grandover Resort is a wonderful venue to have it. I said, Coach, listen, I got to have you, brother. I need you to come down. We need you to give that message. And so long story short, he agreed to do it. And God stepped in and allowed him just to agree with us and then to move into a place where God just really opened up a great door. And so he's going to be with us April the 20th. That's April the 20th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Grandover Spa and Resort. We'll have Coach Tony Elliott from UVA is going to come. Cindy Farmer, who is a very dear friend of mine from Fox 8, is going to be our MC. We'll have a number of people who have supported FCA over many, many years. And what you'll find is we'll have an environment which is conducive for them to hear not only a great message from him, you get a chance to see my staff. A few of them will speak a little bit. We'll have a couple of our major sponsors who will have a few words to say. And then ultimately, we got to raise money.
There you
we
go.
need money. We need to continue to raise funds, just like the church, in order to send more kids to summer camps. We want to be able to help to support young people who want to come on and be a part of FCA full-time or part-time. We want to be able to provide resources, Bibles, devotionals to kids and coaches, and then to support some coaches too, because we have coaches retreats during the summertime. So all in all, it's a great experience. Man, we want to get more people out. And let me just say this to you, 65% of the student athletes in Guilford County are African-American. When we as a ministry have these events, only about 10% of the African Americans who have the ability to support the ministry come out. And I'm I'm very adamant and I'm committed to getting this word out. And I'm so glad you let me come on to say, listen, you got to go to our website, triadfca.org, click on the event page, the event tab, drop down, go in and register, and you can get a chance to have a wonderful experience with my staff, myself, and a number of supporters.
Yes, that's awesome. Hey, and I'm glad you put that information out there so people know how to get in touch and donate. And yes, come on out. Make sure you're there because it's critical. It's important. Mr. Robinson, we appreciate you. We thank you for coming on. And we look forward to doing it again in the future.
That'd be great, T, and the whole gang. I appreciate you all giving us this chance. We know that you're praying for us. We're praying for those student athletes, coaches, and parents. And as long as we can continue to keep the gospel in front of these young people who are influencing so many folks, I tell you what, we'll see a greater change in the schools, both at the middle school, high school, and at the collegiate level. And God's going to be glorified through all of it.
There you go. Amen. Amen. All right. Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. And hey, like you said, April the 20th, 6:30 to 8:30. Be sure to go there and check out Coach Tony Elliott and all of the FCA speakers who are going to be on hand. Thank you, Coach Robinson. We appreciate it. I just made you a coach.
I've coached in my day a little bit, but I appreciate that opportunity, and it's going to be great. Remember, everybody, triadfca.org. Just go to the website, and you can see all the information about where we are, what we're doing, and I know that you'll be just pleasantly surprised at the work that FCA is accomplishing.
All right. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, y'all. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. Hey, we appreciate Wayne Robinson joining us, and we're up against a break. So when we come back, we're going to jump into our hot topics. You're listening At Home with the Crossover.
Why so sad when the joy is here? What's the answer? Joy in the morning. The crossover. You can find them all right here on 100.7 WLJF. There's no need to be down when there's plenty of joy to go around. Get your daily dose and turn that frown upside down. Love and Faith Radio, 100.7 WLJF, The Joy.
My name is Priscilla Van. I'm with Hometown Insurance Service. I'm an independent insurance agent that specializes in Medicare, senior solutions, life and health. I work with dozens of companies so that I can offer you the appropriate coverage as well as the affordable price for your insurance needs. If I can help you, please contact me at my website, hometowninsuranceservice.com, or email me at hometown.inservice, or you can find me on Facebook at Hometown Insurance Service. Thank you.
Times are changing. We all have questions about the future. Join us as we find the answers through the Word of God.
Love and Faith Christian Fellowship invites you to join our congregation. One church, two locations, Greensboro and Kernersville.
We're helping people on their path to find God as we provide spiritual leadership and growth through diverse ministry.
Celebrating over 25 years of ministry. Join our Love and Faith community where Jesus Christ is Lord and the people are loved.
All right, welcome back to At Home with the Crossover. And guess what? This is our 100th At Home with the Crossover episode. That makes this thing special. It's our 100th. We've done this at home, live from our homes, 100 times. COVID sent us home, but COVID didn't stop us. And 100 episodes later, hey, we hit a milestone. But guess what? It's the last At Home with the Crossover. So it's kind of cool that it's the 100th because it's the last. Because on April the 20th, which is a Thursday, we'll be moving back to in studio, 7 p.m. Thursday night. You can still find us on YouTube, but you can also, when you're on YouTube, go to the Love and Faith Radio YouTube channel. But you can also catch us on WLJFradio.com at the same time on Thursday night, starting April the 20th at 7 p.m. So be sure to catch us, and we look forward to seeing you there. But hey, tonight we're going to celebrate our 100th At Home episode, the At Home edition of the Crossover. So hey, it's really cool. And thanks to Wayne Robinson for joining us. And like I said, that banquet, the 2023 Triad FCA Spring Fundraiser Banquet, which is held at the Grandover Resort. You can go to the website triadfca.org and get tickets there, donate, and find out how you can be a part of that banquet. So we appreciate Mr. Robinson for joining us in the first segment. That was a lot of fun. All right, and very informative. Go ahead, Radar.
Just to let you know, bring you up to speed on what's happening on social media.
Yes, sir.
B. Smith was singing the praises of Mr. Robinson about how much he was able to impact her choice to go into teaching.
Okay.
And also, Small Wonder said what's up to everybody on the Tunnel Crew, showing love. And TP, of course, on the thread, telling everybody how, you know, she looking out for Don Staley, and we gonna be back next year, and don't count us out. I said, man, it ain't about you. It's all about Angel Reese right now. I don't know why you trying to steal that woman's shine. Ain't nobody think about Don Staley right now.
All right, well, hey, let's jump on into our hot topics, because we got a lot to talk about. It's the hottest stories of sports. May not be what everybody else is talking about, but it's the thing we, the Tunnel Crew, want to talk about. And the fire today is burning hottest in the state of Texas, where both men's and women's national champions in college basketball were crowned over the last 2 days. And in the men's, we witnessed a first ever in the history of the Final Four. It was the first time ever in the history of the Final Four that there was a true, and I'm talking about a true buzzer beater. And we've seen buzzer beaters in the Final Four, this and other, but never one where the ball was going through the net as the horn sounded with the game on the line. If you make the shot, you win. If you miss the shot, you lose. The Chris Jenkins shot, against Carolina was a tied game. Even though that happened in the national championship, that was a tied game. So there was nothing on that shot in terms of winning and losing. If he misses it, hey, we can go to overtime. If he makes it, they win the game. The Gonzaga shot against UCLA, that was a half court shot, but it was a tied game. This game right here, they were down by one. It's if he makes it, they win. If he misses it, they lose. They said that's the first time ever that's happened in a Final Four or national championship game. So history was made when my man Lamont Butler hit that shot. But that's not the real story. The real story is UConn, because they were a buzzsaw. UConn was absolutely obliterating teams. Yeah, they were a buzzsaw, man. They're absolutely obliterating teams. And hey, they obliterated San Diego State in the national championship. They obliterated Miami in the Final Four. They beat Miami 72-59, beat San Diego State 76-59, and they got their fifth national championship in 25 years. It was Danny Hurley's first national championship as in his 5 years as the head coach of UConn. And hey, they're 5-0 in national championship games. That's the most wins without a loss of any school in the history of college basketball. 5-0.
And is this Bobby Hurley's brother?
That's Bobby Hurley's brother.
Yes.
Hey, and check this out. They've been in a championship game. They've won 6. Been in the Final Four 6 times. So these guys, when they get there, they cash it in. When they get there, they basically there you go. They're like, hey, we're not losing. Now that we're here, we're not losing.
Right.
Hey, we'll start filling out brackets and just putting UConn and
right.
Hey, because I'm telling you, they get there. So Tunnel Crew, your thoughts on UConn cutting down the nets last night, winning the national championship, steamrolling everybody. I think they were the 7th team in the history of the tournament to go through and win every game by 13 points or more. They only trailed 30 minutes out of the 241 minutes they played in the tournament. And they also average margin of victory through the tournament, 20 points. Now, I know they didn't play a number 1 seed. I know they didn't play a number 2 seed, but hey, it's still a great accomplishment what they did. So, Tunnel Crew, your thoughts on UConn getting it done?
Well, UConn looked great, Big T. The guy in the middle, I can't think of his name.
Oh, the most outstanding player, Adama Sanogo.
Thank you.
Yes,
that's what I wanted.
Yes,
he's a bad boy. And then
he is.
The thing about it, Big T, is when he got tired and went out the game, here comes a 7-footer in the game. It wasn't like, okay, all right, he's out, I can show off now. Here comes
we in the break.
They can play also. So
yeah,
like you said, they get there, they close.
They
know how to close. So.
They know how to close. Hey, 5-0 is a pretty good record,
And they had about 7 guys that could run too, Aggie P, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They had an answer for everything you threw at them. And it was like every time somebody would make a run against them, it was the counter punch, they would come right back and hit you with a run. It's like, we see your 7-point run. Now we get ready to go on a 10-point run, so
But
Bird, you get, I'm sorry.
That was another good thing I was going to say. I saw them, I felt like they were trying to outrun San Diego State, just running down the court too.
Yep.
So I felt like that was their running game, but yeah. The big 7-footer who was in there, I was like, is he trying to do some Shaquille O'Neal move? He won't jump it too high, but he was slamming and dunking every time he turned around.
That's a second string guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was amazed about. I'm like,
yeah. I was like, okay, he ain't too high, but he boom every time.
Right.
And he wasn't shy. That's right. To your point, he wasn't shy. And that's what you saw with other teams.
Yeah.
Guys, it would take them a while to get into the rhythm of the game. Not these dudes. They came in there and you was like, this dude should be starting right here.
That's right. Bird, you got any thoughts?
Yeah.
History of UConn in that tournament runs deep. So I'm not surprised that they pulled it off. Alabama couldn't win. I'm glad UConn won because they showed up the entire tournament.
Yeah, they were. And, early on this year, I think they started 11-1, and they looked great then, but then they had a couple of injuries, and they lost like 6 out of 8, and everybody saw, they're a fluke and this, that, and the other. But, they were early on, they were a team that a lot of people were talking about, and a lot of people were saying, hey, they can make a run. So it shouldn't have surprised us, but hey.
You know what, Big T? I was wondering how they lost the game. If they lost,
yeah,
they had injuries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I was like, who beat these guys?
Yep. Well, and that's what I love about college basketball. You can have injuries, get your guys back, and be set for the tournament as long as those injuries don't, derail you. College football, you have injuries early in the season, you lose 2 out of your first 3 games, you're pretty much done. Even if you get everybody back and go on a roll, it's still going to be hard for you to get back in the race. All right.
We have a YouTuber,
Yes.
Bill Davis, who also said Baby Shaq. So,
Baby Shaq. Hey, and you know what I love about that guy? Man, there was one play when San Diego State had cut it to like 5 or 6, and the guy for San Diego State got the ball in the paint, and it was like he was trying to bully my man and was trying to back him, and that dude planted himself, and that guy couldn't move him. And the dude for San Diego, I don't know, I can't remember the guy's name for San Diego, but he's bigger than him. He couldn't move him, couldn't budge him. He eventually ended up throwing up a crazy hook shot that almost missed the rim and everything. UConn got the rebound and took off. And that's when I said, oh, this kid is strong, man.
Yeah.
He is a beast.
Well,
All right.
One thing I noticed before you go, one more thing I noticed is that there was a lot of, y'all probably did too, they were going for the charges. Like San Diego State was really hoping that UConn would get them charges.
Yep. And they got a lot of charges called on them, which they were good calls. I mean, it wasn't like they were controversial.
That shows their technique on, they were really trying to hope on those charges to get the turnover.
That's right. All right, hey, on the women's side, LSU was equally as dominant as UConn, beating Iowa by 17 in the national championship game. And they set a record, y'all, 102 points. The previous high was 97, scored by Texas in 1986. And both teams won the championship game for the first time. Kim Mulkey, congratulations to her. She got her 4th national championship. Remember, she got 3 with Baylor. She did it with 9 new players, y'all. 9 new players. So she totally rebuilt that program. This is only her 2nd year there. And we're going to talk more about the women's national championship game on the other side. But first, I want to let everybody know that, hey, Tuesday nights coming to a close. No longer will we be at home with the crossover. This is our 100th edition of the at-home version of the show. But starting on April the 20th, we will move to Thursday nights at 7 p.m. You can find us here on YouTube at the Love and Faith Radio YouTube channel. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and tell everybody you know about it. Then you can also catch us on that same night at 7 p.m. simultaneously on WLJFradio.com. You can also download the 100.7 WLJF app. It's available both on Google Play and in the iTunes Store. When we come back, we're going to get into our question of the day. You're listening to At Home with the Crossover.
Why so sad when the joy is here? What's the answer? Joy in the morning. The crossover. You can find them all right here on 100.7 WLJF. There's no need to be down when there's plenty of joy to go around. Get your daily dose and turn that frown upside down. Love and Faith Radio, 100.7 WLJF, the joy.
My name is Priscilla Van. I'm with Hometown Insurance Service. I'm an independent insurance agent that specializes in Medicare, senior solutions, life and health. I work with dozens of companies so that I can offer you the appropriate coverage as well as the affordable price for your insurance needs. If I can help you, please contact me at my website, hometowninsuranceservice.com, or email me at hometown.inservice, or you can find me on Facebook at Hometown Insurance Service. Thank you.
Times are changing. We all have questions about the future. Join us as we find the answers through the Word of God.
Love and Faith Christian Fellowship invites you to join our congregation. One church, 2 locations, Greensboro and Kernersville.
We're helping people on their path to find God as we provide spiritual leadership and growth through diverse ministry.
Celebrating over 25 years of ministry. Join our Love and Faith community where Jesus Christ is Lord and the people are loved.
100.7 WLJF.
All right, welcome back to the 100th episode of At Home with the Crossover. And it's our final episode of At Home with the Crossover because we are moving back into the studio, and we will be doing that on April the 20th. That's Thursday night. So we're not only are we moving back in the studio, we're moving from Tuesdays to Thursday nights, which is our original showtime, and be 7 p.m. Thursday nights right here on YouTube, the Love and Faith Radio YouTube channel. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, tell everybody you know about it. Also, you can catch us on WLJFradio.com, and you can download the WLJF app. It's available both on Google Play and in the iTunes Store. My thanks to Tyquell for his comments. Appreciate you. And to B. Smith for all of her comments. And anybody else that's out there on social media, the fans and listeners. Queen Radar, we got any more comments or shout-outs from the listeners and fans?
I think we're really good to go.
Okay.
We're having a little session in here.
Uh-oh.
What do you think, Radar?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, we going back and forth about, who was the real MVP.
The real MVP.
The real MVP. And then I put on there, I said, please don't, please TP don't mention your relationship about Don Staley.
Hey,
heard that story 1,000 times.
Hey, and you know what?
To work with her.
You know what?
You know what? That's pride. And I'm so sorry that all you do is hate.
It's hate.
You hate on the Aggies. You hate on our colors.
Say hate on Don Staley.
He was hating on your Dolphins.
Yeah, I know he does.
Literally a hater all the time.
Yeah, he is.
You know what? That's why you need more love and faith in your life.
Hey, Mr. Hate, Mr. Hater.
Love and faith. That's why I go to Love
Hater.
and Christian Fellowship.
Hey, Mr. Hater. Yes.
They're working on me.
Hey, and check this out. And we want to shout out South Carolina, Don Staley. They failed in their attempt at repeating and winning their third championship in 5 years. But hey, they were 36-0, got upset by Caitlin Clark in Iowa at 36-1. And it was a close game, 77-73, but congratulations to them. And guess what? They will be back. We'll be hearing from South Carolina and Don Staley again.
That's why I got on my South Carolina equipment manager shirt right
All right, so hey, finishing up with the women's side of things, Kim Mulkey is the first woman to win titles at 2 different schools, and Alexis Morris, man, she was awesome. Scored 21 points, had 2 points in the first half, 19 in the second, 15 of those in the fourth. Every time I looked up, she was blazing down the court scoring. She was getting steals. I was like, oh my goodness, she done took over the game. And then you had Angel Reese, man. Angel Reese got up in Caitlin Clark's face, did the John Cena, then started pointing at the ring finger and everything, and taunting her and all that stuff. And of course, if you look back in the tournament, Caitlin Clark has done some of that same stuff. She's caught on tape talking trash to other players. She left the one guard for South Carolina, Raven Johnson, left her wide open for 3 and just waved her off like, yeah, I don't need to guard her, and just left her there. And I mean, so she was doing some disrespectful stuff too. She was the one that started the Cena thing, And so Alexis Morris said, hey, all that stuff she was doing was disrespectful. And Angel Reese was like, hey, I'm not having it. But then controversy broke out because of Angel Reese getting in her face and everything. And it was said, she was classless, blah, blah, blah. Angel Reese said, now, it's funny how when she does it, she's having fun. But y'all always say I'm ghetto, I'm hood. And when I do it, it's a problem, And she hadn't shied away from controversy this week either, because Jill Biden, First Lady, she said, maybe we should have Iowa and LSU come to the White House, because they always invite the champion to the White House. She said maybe we should invite both of them. And
what, in Bethlehem? For real? What?
And Angel Reese posted on her social media, this is a joke. you know?
Wow.
And the White House press secretary walked that back today and basically was like, no, she was just saying the game was so great. It was a celebration of women's sports, period. Women athletes all around. And we look forward to having the LSU Tigers visit the White House later on this year.
Clean it up.
He said, clean it up. So, Tunnel Crew, question of the day is this. How do you define sportsmanship? Because there's a lot of talk about this was unsportsmanlike, you know, the gestures and everything. And like I said, it really didn't become a problem until Angel Reese did it, you know? And it was like, this is unsportsmanlike, blah, blah, blah. So, Tunnel Crew, question of the day, how do you define sportsmanship? You know, I mean, do you think that what happened on the court Sunday and other rounds, because like we said, Caitlin Clark was doing it too, you know?
Yep.
You know, how do you define sportsmanship? I'm throwing that out there, turning it over to you. Radar, you go first, man.
I'm going to lead off. Thank you so much. You know what? For our 100th show, I think it's so appropriate that we would come to this type of issue. And I believe sportsmanship is based on if you dish it, you got to take it. If you're talking it when you're winning, I need you to eat it when you lose. And I thought Dawn Staley handled herself beautifully because even though she lost, you could tell she was just coming from a place of respect. Look, we ain't even gonna talk about what she did. We're gonna talk about how we treat the players as a whole. Watch what you say, because they're competing. And every game, Aggie P can attest to this. It looked like everybody played hard. Everybody should be proud of what they did. But in my definition, sportsmanship is if you dish it, you got to take it. And there's no bad time to get that reminder of, hey, we remember what you said and we remember how you acted. So now we get ready to give you a serving of it.
So Radar, let me recap something and you just let me know. Was that in response to her doing the hand gesture to South Carolina, or and
it was in response to a reporter asked, how do you feel about your team being labeled as bullies? And she said, watch what you say because you're a national press. What you say in private is not private. And she had friends in the press that said, hey, this is what's being said about your team. Instead of them being competitive, they're being labeled as bullies and they play rough and they get calls, and that's not the case. So instead of saying all that, she said, watch what you say, because at the same time, it's competition. I won the past 2 years. I'm taking it like a champ, but y'all want to throw it in my face. And you're not even on the court.
Well, the reason why I said that, because I'm glad that you said that, because there was with the statement, even the girl Angel from LSU gave respect, because Dawn had even said, we've been called everything this week. Monkey. I mean, that totally disrespectful.
Yeah.
Disrespectful. And when I was reading like, okay, I could take a lot of this, but when you saying monkeys, that right there got me. So that's why I was so glad that you repeated that, so that other people could understand about the comment. And understanding there's a lot of behind the scenes in women's basketball that people are not talking about.
Aggie P, Birdman, your thoughts on this? How do you define sportsmanship?
I'm gonna be nice, Big T. I'm gonna follow up with what Radar was speaking about. I'm a firm believer that you have to address a spirit with a spirit. Okay. And I think that the athletes, now if you keep all the racist stuff out of it, athletes, we really understand what that is all about. Back and forth, back and forth. It's the fans and the press and the media that take stuff like that and blow it out of proportion. And a lot of times too, when there is a predominantly Black team
Yeah.
that does it, and
Yeah.
the other team happen to be predominantly
Yep.
you know,
White.
the other
White.
color.
Predominantly
You know,
white.
right. Okay. Thank you. You know, I get tired of being the bad guy. You know, but you know, it just seemed like it's just wrong for. I dare you to act that way. You know, it's just wrong when, as an athlete, whether you play, no matter who you play, there's an understanding that you know it's going to be trash talking on both sides.
Yep.
You know, and so I'm not gonna let you trash talk, and we don't trash talk.
Yep.
You know, so I really believe, Big T. You know, the question was sportsmanship. I think athletes really respect each other in that realm. And, you know, can go back and forth. I just believe that it's the media and the fans that really take it to another level.
Yeah.
And try to cause controversy.
Yep.
To keep us talking about it from week to week to week.
Hey, and to piggyback off of what you said, I think Caitlin Clark's got thrown into it as a villain too, because from another perspective, and she really didn't respond negatively at all to what was being done to her. In fact, she was on ESPN earlier today, and she said, "Hey, I wasn't even thinking about it. You know, when she was doing it, she said, you know, I was in the midst of the game, caught up at that." And she said, "Hey, this is competition." She said, "You know, I mean, I'm not taking offense at it, you know, this, that, and the other." I mean, she handled it, you know, totally different than the press did, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's my point, Big T and Tony Crew. I mean, just the press a lot of times, you know.
Yeah.
And like I say, you know, in the battle of competition, it is what it is. You know, that's why in college football, we don't shake hands after the game.
Yeah.
You better not let us. I mean, it is what it is. You know, in college basketball, they shake hands. They can do that.
Yeah.
Football.
No. Motion's too high, huh?
You don't know. Lord, no.
Bird, your thoughts?
I start from the source. The guy who does that gesture is saying that you can't see me because you're not on his level athletically. That is a sports entertainer. The key word being entertainment. That's what it's all about. Sports is entertainment. So to do the hand gestures and everything, I don't have no problem with that. The problem I have with is the whole double standard. There has to be a double standard, because if this person can't do that, but this person is doing this, then where's the double standard at? So I think sportsmanship, in my opinion, is you reap what you sow, but at the same time, you got to understand that it's all in good fun, out of respect. We're not doing it to be disrespectful. I'm not doing this to be disrespectful on the field. I'm having fun. I'm doing what I love to do. But as an athlete, I know that to leave this on the field and not take it off the field or out of the ring or off the court or whatever. So I think sportsmanship should be all about having fun on and off the court or wherever the sport is played at. But at the same time, you reap what you sow.
I think sportsmanship is going to be something. It's going to mean something totally different to each individual person. You know, like there's some people that would have said, "Well, if that was me, I might have done this," but then I would have walked over to her and grabbed her by a hand, pulled her over to me, dapped her up. You know what I'm saying? And so that all the camera shots and everything would show and would prove that, hey, there's no hard feelings. You know, this is, I did this, but hey, but everybody might not see it that way. Other people might say, yeah, we might do that, but we're not going to do it in front of the cameras. We'll do it, you know, hey, I see her in the hallway or whatever. What's up, girl? Hey, you know, I was just messing with you, right? You know? So sportsmanship means different things to different people.
Like I'll try, like if I knew the cameras were rolling, I'd try to act like I'm gonna jump up on Aggie P, and then I'll be behind TP. I'm like, boy, you better be glad TP holding me back right now.
Boy, you crazy. Hey, TP just shaking her head. She like,
and then I'll be like, Aggie P, man, hey, you cool, right? You cool. Let that go, B. Let that go.
Well, hey, this is our 100th edition of the at-home version of the show. It's also the last at home with the crossover show. We are moving back to in studio on April the 20th at 7 p.m. right here on YouTube, the Love and Faith Radio YouTube channel. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and tell everybody you know about it. You can also catch it on April the 20th at 7 p.m. on the WLJFradio.com site. And you can listen to it on the WLJF app, which is available both on Google Play and in the iTunes Store as well. When we come back, we're going to wrap this 100th edition of At Home with the Crossover up. You're listening to At Home with the Crossover.
Sad when the joy is here. What's the answer? Joy in the morning. The crossover. You can find them all right here on 100.7 WLJF. There's no need to be down when there's plenty of joy to go around. Get your daily dose and turn that frown upside down. Love and Faith Radio, 100.7 WLJF, The Joy.
My name is Priscilla Van. I'm with Hometown Insurance Service. I'm an independent insurance agent that specializes in Medicare, senior solutions, life and health. I work with dozens of companies so that I can offer you the appropriate coverage as well as the affordable price for your insurance needs. If I can help you, please contact me at my website, hometowninsuranceservice.com, or email me at hometown.inservice, or you can find me on Facebook at Hometown Insurance Service. Thank you.
Times are changing. We all have questions about the future. Join us as we find the answers through the Word of God.
Love and Faith Christian Fellowship invites you to join our congregation. One church, two locations, Greensboro and Kernersville.
We're helping people on their path to find God as we provide spiritual leadership and growth through diverse ministry.
Celebrating over 25 years of ministry. Join our Love and Faith community where Jesus Christ is Lord and the people are loved.
It's time now for the crossover wrap up report. Let's send it back to the tunnel.
All right, welcome back to At Home with the Crossover. And hey, real quick, couple of quick mentions here. UConn, like we said, won a national championship for the men's. It's their fifth. And 5 years, Danny Hurley has been there. And a few years ago, he was quoted as saying, "You better get us now." So he knew something, he felt that confident that he said, "You better get us now, because in a few years from now, watch out." And that proved to be true. And also UConn, they won 2 out of their last 3 national championships out of the 5. They started the season unranked, proving that you don't have to be like Carolina was this year, preseason number 1, and cut down the nets in April. So congratulations to those guys once again. Hey, and don't forget the Triad FCA Spring Banquet. It's April the 20th of this year, 2023, 6:30 to 8:30 at the Grandover Resort. The keynote speaker is Virginia football coach Tony Elliott. And you can register for that event at triadfca.org. And we want to thank Wayne Robinson for joining us earlier, the director of the FCA, Triad FCA, to talk about that event and much, much more. All right, let's get into our wrap-up segment. And we're going to look at the results from last week. We said, like, last 3 weeks we've been doing the NCAA tournament bracket. And so this weekend, we went 0-2. I mean, nobody won. I was the only one that had a Final Four participant, but I didn't pick them to win. So there you go, 0-2. But I won the week by virtue of winning the tournament challenge. And as a tiebreaker, that I should say. If somebody else had went 1-1, they would have won the week. But since we all went 0-2, I won the week by virtue of winning the tournament challenge. So let's look on and see what the overall standings are. I'm in first place with 72 wins. I've got 7 weekly wins. Birdman is next with 70 wins. He's got 4 weekly wins. Aggie P has 67 wins. He's in third, and he has 4 weekly wins. Bromel is in fourth place. He has 66 wins and 4 weekly wins. That would be your playoff participants if the playoffs started today, but they don't. Fortunately, so stats are still alive. He's got 61 wins. And he has, it should say 4 weekly wins. And he's only 5 games out of the playoff spot. Radar has 61 wins, and he has 1 weekly win, and he's 5 games out of the playoff spot also. Stats will have the tiebreaker because of his weekly wins. And TP, she's not too far behind. She's got 60 wins. She's 6 games back, and she has 2 weekly wins. All right, let's look at the games for this week that we have to pick, and they look like this. So we're taking, I'm trying to find my notes here, y'all. I was prepared and then I lost it. All right, here we go. We're taking the Masters. You have to pick a golfer that you think will finish in the top 3. Major League Baseball, the team that you think will go 500 or better over the next 2 weeks. Moving to the XFL, we got DC at Seattle in week 8. And then we got Seattle at St. Louis in week 9. Then the Carolina Hurricanes, they only have 6 games left in the regular season. And we had the choice of will they go 500, above 500, or below 500 in those 6 games. Then the NBA, we got 2 choices. The Grizzlies at the Bucks on Friday night and the Celtics at the 76ers. That game is tonight. And then Major League Baseball. Actually, we've already done Major League Baseball. So that's the choices. Radar, read us yours, sir.
Seattle XFL, Hurricanes above 500, Bucks, 76ers for the night's game, Yankees are my picks for tonight.
All right. Next up, we got stats. I'll read his. He's taking Watson in the PGA. He's taking the Red Sox to be the team to go over 500. He's got the Hurricanes finishing above 500 the next 6 games. He's got the 76ers tonight. And he's got St. Louis in that XFL game beating Seattle, the Seattle Sea Dragons. Next up, we got myself. I'm taking the Tampa Bay Rays to go over 500 over the next 2 weeks. I got Seattle in the XFL beating DC. And then I've got St. Louis beating Seattle in week 9. So I'm all over the place. I got the Hurricanes to finish above 500 and the Bucks to beat the Grizzlies on Thursday night. Aggie P.
Yes, sir. I got John Ram in the PGA. I got DC in the XFL. I got St. Louis XFL. Hurricanes above 500. And I got the Bucks.
All right. TP.
All right, I have DC, Seattle, Hurricanes above 500, the Bucks, and the Celtics.
All right. Birdman.
All right, I hope I pronounced this last name right. It's Scotty Scheffler for the PGA, Grizzlies, Celtics, DC, and Seattle.
All right. Love it. Love it. Then that leaves Bromell. He took DC in the XFL. He's got the Hurricanes finished above 500. Got the Bucks and the Celtics. And he's got the Yankees to be over 500 the next 2 weeks. 500 or better over the next 2 weeks. All right. It's time for our shout out and play or shut up. Shut up and play or shout out candidates. We'll start with you, TP.
I want to give a shout out to all of the students at North Carolina A&T State University, especially with some events that's recently occurred. So I just encourage all the students and alumni to hang in there and to continue to keep Christ first.
There you go. Keep the Lord in it. Birdman.
Shout out to TP and Radar. You kids behave yourselves, okay?
You kids. Aggie P.
Yeah, my shout out to the Tunnel Crew, 100 episode at home.
At home. Love it. Love it. Love it. Radar.
Radar is blind.
I guess Radar is blind. All right. Well, hey, that's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Get the hater off the show for the last minute. All right. Hey, my shout out goes to the women's NCAA tournament. They set records for attendance and viewership numbers. So congratulations, ladies. First time they were called March Madness, and they set records. All right, for the Queen. We'll say that again, Agape?
I said I really enjoyed the latest tournament.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Really good. For the Queen.
Blessings.
For Birdman.
Whosoever believe in him.
For Aggie P.
No weapon
For radar, what'd you say? A&T stinks. I'm your man, Big T, signing off and saying, no matter where you are, look up and know that your creator's there. Until next time, see you. And we might want to be you. 100 episodes at home with the crossover, everybody. Remember, April 20th, 7 p.m. Back in studio.
So join us next week on the crossover. And remember, the Tunnel Crew don't play unless we have something to say.